Alright, we're going to install some ghost shadow lights, LED projector lights, puddle lights, custom logo lights, whatever you want to call them, on this Lincoln Continental. Now this is a 4-door, so we're going to need 2 kits. This is how they came. Get your 2 projectors. We're going to install on the bottom of the door panel. It also comes with the hole saw we're going to use to drill the hole up to the bottom. Now this door is going to be easier than the last one I installed because this one has a courtesy light in the door that we can tap into these wires. The back doors don't have the light, so we're going to have to do something different there. But first thing we want to do is remove the door panel. Every car is going to be different, so I won't go into showing you how all that goes. You can figure that out in your own car. So we'll get that door panel off and go from there. Alright, we've got our door panel off. We've got a mark where we want to put the light. Now you want to make sure once you get your panel off that you have room for your light to go back here. You don't want to start drilling before you remove your panel because you might line up with one of these posts. You might even drill right through this wire harness. So you want to get your panel off first. Make sure you're going to have room for it before you drill your hole. Also, while we have the door panel off, we want to make sure which one of these is positive. That way when we tap into these wires, we know which one's positive, because the LED has to be the correct polarity or it won't work. Alright, we've got our hole drilled. Next thing you want to do is pull the 2 lock rings off. We're going to feed this right up through the hole in the bottom. Just like that. Put our lock rings back on. Now we'll have to adjust which way we want our logo to point once we get the panel back on, so you don't want to tighten it all the way down yet. But we'll get it on, get it snugged up, and then we'll move on to the wiring. Alright, now for the wiring, what I did is I went ahead and cut the wire so I could slide on a piece of heat shrink. And I soldered them back together with our power wire for the LEDs in there. That way we can cover it up with the heat shrink. You end up with a real nice clean job instead of wires twisted together that may only last a couple days before they stop working. So we just got to do the same thing to the ground side and we'll be all set with our wiring. So we've got our wires all wired in, looking good, looks like it belongs there. Now we just got to set the door panel back on so we can rotate this where we want it lined up with the vehicle, and we'll be all set. We can finish putting the door panel back on. Alright, now the wiring on the back is going to be a little different because, like I said, there's no courtesy light in the door on this car to tap into. So we need a power and we need a wire that's grounded when the door opens. So what we're going to do on the power window harness, we find a wire that is hot all the time, which is this one right here. So this is the one we're going to tap into for the power wire for our LED. And I've got the harness apart here. Now on this car, the switch for the dome lights is in this latch right here. So we've got the wire harness comes down through the door, comes up here, and we got this wire right here is the one that grounds when the door opens, and it opens the circuit when the door closes. This is the wire we're going to tap into for the ground side of our LEDs. We're going to solder them up the same way we did the front door, and that'll be the wiring for the rear door. Alright, on the back, same thing as the front. Got our hole drilled, projectors installed. And make sure there's nothing in the way from behind, so you don't drill through one of these posts or any wiring harnesses, anything like that. Put the nut on, and we're ready to do the wiring. Alright, we got our wires all soldered in, got our speaker back in, and we just got to put the door panel back on, adjust the logo just the way we want it, and we're all done with this side. And there it is, all installed.